Razzle Dazzle. It's Body by Basil, the new exciting fitness craze that will get you Canary cry swole in no time at all. Just listen to these quotes from our participants. My muscles are huge. It's all or Nephilim. You'll be an apocalypse warlord in no time. Don't wait. Order today and save 33% for just 4 easy payments of only $33.33. You too can have the body of a googly eye VR headset wearing Nephilim warlord.
A new, raw deconstruction of news and analysis. Introducing Canary Cry Newstalk, the new intense fragrance made specifically for thinking outside the cage. From your favorite podcasters, Basil and Goms.
Gons, can you hear me? I'm hearing reports about a prototype Flippy arm.
Don't tell me. Flippy is coming for our jobs.
That's right. You know what this means.
Yeah, it's wake-up time. Think outside the cage.
and links and Sir Dylan Night of the Wailing
The
Avian.
world is
Here we
getting
go.
crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 24th, 2024. We are live to tape on episode 709. And today, Layoffagedddon. Signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of The Age of Deceit Films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. In today's immersion phenomenon, here's a question. Has Chris Shillzilla upgraded to Shamanzilla? It'll all make sense later. But also, Basil, just as a tech under-the-hood note to kick it off here, the pre-stream, your mic was muted.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm seeing that now. I have no idea how that happened. That's very strange.
It happens automatically when the video plays with the music under it, and so it is.
Gracious.
It's a manual thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! All right.
So
well,
nobody heard your pre-stream, but it's okay. We're here now.
Everybody missed the pre-stream. That might have been my best pre-stream spiel maybe ever. Man.
Of course.
Well, there's always next episode, Gonz.
Yep. There you go.
All right. Well, things are moving. Things are shaking. We are still banned from YouTube. Well, we are at least censored. We have been given an undetermined amount of time in our YouTube timeout. Who knows? We don't even know if we'll ever be allowed to stream there again. It's very sad. And all the listeners who rely on YouTube to watch the show and have not bothered to make any accounts anywhere else, you know, I love you guys. But you're sort of choosing to be trapped in the tyranny of convenience that is YouTube. We get it. It's the best. It's the, I don't know, fastest. It's the most popular. It's got a bunch of fun stuff. It's convenient. Yeah. Those algos keeping you seeing stuff that catch your attention. But unfortunately, it is the tyranny of convenience, and the plurality of people who would watch on YouTube are just not gonna find the show. They're just gone, which is very sad. So, but if you know any of those people, send them a message, send them an email. I don't know. I send out the text. I send out the emails. It's just go to the places where the people are and tell them that Canary Cry lives. And which is pretty important because today we got a lot of stuff going on that must be. It's you know, some episodes are sort of core specifically to the Canarium, where long-time trends come together. The threads finally tighten in a tapestry that has been weaved over years, and this episode may just be one of those. So let me give you a rundown.
Well, let's do are we doing a disclaimer?
Oh, yeah, do the disclaimer. We gotta do
time for a disclaimer.
Now, what about YouTube? That's right, and just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys.
That's right. Now let me give you a rundown.
Here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Bidenomics, Build Back Better, whatever you call it, it's happening, and boy, oh boy, is it exciting. We've got layoffs across the entire economy coming out of nowhere, seemingly coordinated. It doesn't matter what company you work for. If you're in the tech or in media, you might be in trouble. And then, of course, we have got a response from the one, the only, Chris Shillzilla, who we have been following for years, the ups, the downs, the tears, the laughter of his career in the media, now independent, away from CNN, and yet you can take this guy out of CNN, but you can't take the CNN out of the guy. We'll be catching up on some of his more exciting Twitter escapades. Then checking in with Flippy, and it seems like the Flippy update, the recent philosophical musings of the Flippy update, have now made it into mainstream robo-journalism. So that's the thing, folks. Canary Cry, we're always early, too early for our own good. But we'll check in with that. Then Gonz is going to be walking us through some DNA surveillance programs, legislation, suspicions, conspiracy facts. Who knows what it is, but Gonz is going to tell us. Happening around the country, more than you might expect. And then a fun and flirty article from mindmatters.ai. Will scientists be forced to consider the occult? Oh, and there's another way. The Canary Cry community has been ahead of it all along. And we'll be ending the show, of course, with some Antarctica news. The penguins, Nephilim penguins, we're getting them from space now, folks. But first, our lead stories.
We need a great reset.
We will build Babylon. This time, a new world order.
Yeah. Always got to build back better, but you got to tear down to build it back. And Bidenomics,
that's what I hear.
Yeah, Bidenomics is the oil greasing the wheels of the economy. Look how good everything's doing, Basil. Layoff.fyi is the website we're on right now, and this is the website that's featured on Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. This is their data source that's keeping them informed about the 72 tech companies with layoffs. 13,240 is the count currently in 2024. It's a slow bleed. It's been happening since the end of last year, but it's definitely been kicking up, and especially in the news media, which is being affected here. I have a bunch of articles here that we're just going to look at the headlines and move on. There may be a couple highlights here or there, but just to get an idea of how much of this is going on. First off, let's see. Some of your stuff got in here, Basil, but it's okay. We got Bloomberg, Amazon's Twitch to cut 500 employees, about 35% of staff. So there you go. Maybe that's why no one's answering our emails over there at Twitch, and nobody cares because they're losing a third of their staff. So there you go. There's one affected. You also
it just keeps coming.
Yeah. The Guardian, online retailer eBay to lay off 1,000 workers, firm says in letter to employees. Yeah, there you go. 500 employees globally, representing 4% of its total workforce. And so a lot of it has to do with
that's a lot.
Yeah, I know. This
4% of the entire workforce. My goodness.
Yeah. Then we have WJTV. I think this is an NBC or no, ABC outlet. And they have a headline here. Tencent's League of Legends developer Riot Games announces layoff of 530 staff.
My
goodness.
A lot.
That's a lot for like a gaming company. And then a company that I've never really heard of. Have you heard of Brex, Basil?
No, I have not.
It's this is fortune.com. Brex, the fintech giant that nobody knows about, valued at $12.3 billion, announced it will lay off 20% of its staff. So this just continues to happen to the tech industry, but it's not just tech, it's also media. And here we have Newsweek a few days ago. Conservatives cheer mass layoffs at Sports Illustrated. And
no. Those mean conservatives. Remember that term cheer, by the way. Of course, that's a nice little piece of NLP, some manipulative language there to make conservatives look specifically evil for cheering on the misfortune of others. Cheer. That'll come up again later.
Yeah, we have Deadline reporting Great American Media undergoes layoff. CFO, head of marketing, and Corcom among those cut. Now, Great American Media, first I thought, wait a minute, is this like a generalized title for American media? Or no, it is a actual faith and family-focused company launched in 2021 under Bill Abbott. It's the latest with the layoffs. So, maybe we can talk a little bit about what's going on here, because this one in particular, because it is faith and family based, I was a little curious as to what was going on. And it says here that the Great American Media, the faith and family focused company that launched in 2021 under Bill Abbott, is the latest to get hit with layoffs. Deadline has learned that roughly 13 people were cut from top jobs on Monday, and then they list a bunch of names and positions in high places in that company. In a statement released to Deadline, the company said, quote, in 2023, Sony invested in Great American Media and rolled its PureFlix streaming video on-demand service into GAM's business to be run by GAM management for the purpose of maximizing the synergies between the two. When I saw that in the quote, I immediately thought, oh no, this is synergies is like a late 2000s, early 2010s business buzzword.
Yeah, it's pretty old school. It's a little, it's a bit cringy.
It is super cringy in 2024. So if you're using the word synergies, it's on the heels of a highly successful year, we excelled with our Christmas launch, and we kicked off 2024 hosting the Rose Parade, announced the network's first ever original series, County Rescue, and announced the launch of our own mystery franchises. And we will be launching even more programming, content, and experiences throughout the year, end quote. We're now looking to maximize, this is a continued quote here, we're looking to maximize the synergies of our brands. Just as Netflix narrowed its focus this year, we're taking steps to focus on our strengths. And they just keep mentioning synergies. They reached 70 million linear cable viewers. So this is a pretty big faith media outlet. So it looks like they're just going to continue on here, but some shakeups. So the traditional sort of infrastructure is getting hit no matter what content, because we're seeing the conservative rise wash over traditional media. That's part of what's happening here. The alt media is sort of becoming obsolete, if you will, due to their overstepping of boundaries when it comes to, especially after COVID. And with this particular case, they tried to bring conservative media to the old structure, and yeah, what do you know? You're getting hit. You're going to have to lay off some people.
Oh, yeah. Well, specifically their linear television model, which is just such a strange thing. I mean, yeah, like you said, trying to get conservative sort of family values and stuff, but you don't need to make old school zombie corpse of an industry linear television the basis of that. But okay.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah, well, New York Post, Paramount Global braces for as many as 800 layoffs.
It's a lot of layoffs.
A lot of layoffs. This one lists a few more places that are having issues here. They had NBC Universal cut 50 to 100 employees earlier this month. Disney Pixar Animation Studios is bracing for imminent layoff as a result that could result in as many as 300 jobs cut. Paramount, which was formed when Viacom and CBS reunited in 2019, has faced challenges related to cord cutting, a weak advertising market.
Yeah.
Its loss-producing streaming service, Paramount Plus, and volatility in the business move. Yeah, you know, when all these news outlets started doing the streaming thing, like doing the Netflix model, it did spell doom in a sense, but... and then also the big one that's being talked about now, Los Angeles Times, LA Times, to lay off at least 115 people in the newsroom. And this one included a bunch of people that have been there for a long time, and some people complaining about how this is the end of journalism and whatnot. So there's a lot of talk, Basil. And to top everything off here, it's not all negative. According to themedialeader.com, super trustworthy website, The Media Leader, the headline, Learn with the Expert finds a silver lining amid tech and media layoffs. So there's always a silver lining, Basil. There's always good that can come out. You know, God is always good. There's always good that can come out of anything.
Money to be made in crisis. Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
It says here, last year, tech and entertainment companies saw a significant reduction in jobs, which thousands laid off across Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Spotify, and others. In the first few weeks of 2024, additional job cuts have occurred, including at Amazon, Google, and Disney. It's easy to ignore the negative. Listen to this. It is easy to ignore the negative news. How is it easy to ignore the negative news when it's all over media? When
Yeah, it
such
doesn't make any
severe
sense.
layoffs occur due to strategic repositioning by businesses looking to become leaner, more efficient, and altogether better for shareholders. I think it's very telling there.
It's always
But-
for the shareholders.
But there is a human element behind every redundancy. Don't worry, human. There is human element. With thousands of highly skilled media and tech workers flooding the job market, many have reached out to executives looking for work. And then it gives this example. One such industry leader who has received a flock of messages is Jolt Digital founder and CEO Sebastian Lepez. And it just quotes him, how he's getting all these messages, and how there's a way to leverage all these people that have expertise in media and tech. Enter Learn with the Expert, an initiative that looks to recruit individuals recently made redundant or otherwise in between jobs to give webinars and tutorials on their area of expertise while they look for new work. So,
It's
brilliant
masterclass
idea. Brilliant.
It's like a masterclass app, you know.
Yeah.
But this is the masterclass of people who got fired. So don't
Everyone
worry.
that got fired, sign up here. Give us all your
Yeah.
money, and then you can speak to everybody else that got fired.
Don't learn from, and I don't think it's, this word redundancy, this is a classic layoff term. It's not a new term, but it certainly is, what's the word? I don't know. It's poignant that all these thousands of employees of tech companies and media have been made redundant as AI has been worming its way into different industries, different companies. I mean, that's the thing. Even the most basic uses of AI certainly are either making paid employees' jobs really, really easy, or, the possibility of replacing them altogether. So that is obviously a part of it. Now, nobody's going to come out and say that, but the numbers are just too big. Between Bidenomics and AI and everything else, it's not looking good, especially when it comes to advertising. And advertising has been plummeting, and of course the media making all of its money off of advertising, but also tech. I mean, you talk about Amazon's Twitch. That's an advertising business. I don't know about eBay necessarily, but League of Legends, it's a free-to-play advertiser-funded game. I mean, you can spend money, but more or less, I mean, these are all advertiser-based companies. Mix that with, AI taking a lot of the load off of some of the lower ring employees. This is just a total massacre. And LA Times got an especially especially a place of honor on X, as people, of course, with their, their grinning faces, just cheering for the decline or the loss of employment for journalists.
Yeah.
Those evil X people.
Yeah, the eeks. Disgusting eeks.
Yeah, but, of course, there's some sort of schadenfreude that anybody outside of the media feels for that industry, which has so perfectly betrayed our trust in every single way. People are not too sad about that. But don't worry, people in the media who have been laid off, we have the answer for you. We have talked about it for years. We have followed the journey of our hero, and just know that going independent, that's the way to go. You don't need some gigantic media conglomerate to pay, to sign your paychecks. No, you can go value for value. You can go independent. You sure can survive in this world without the corporate monoliths hovering over you. And as an example, just take our good friend, Chris Shillzilla.
Shill for sure.
Lots of meatballs, delicious.
Been a while since we've caught up on Chris Shillzilla there. Of course, as when we last left him, he had been released from CNN, as we will put it, because the phrase that he wants us to use about his dismissal from CNN does come into conflict. So we'll just wait for that. But Chris Shillzilla, he's there for you. He took a spat at podcasting. I think he got 40 episodes of a podcast. He did, he's got his, what's that called? Not Medium, Substack. Did the Substack. He's allegedly doing very well on Substack. And he wanted to come to the rescue to all these laid off LA Times / media people. And he sent a post on X that says, this is his pinned tweet, by the way, his pinned post. For anyone, all caps, anyone in the media that has been laid off today, tomorrow, or in the future, if you are in the DC area ever, I will take you to coffee. You are not alone. This happens to great people, and a lot of people. Just email me at silizak@gmail.com. I am here. Just the earnestness.
Very emotionally gentle.
Which is his forte. His forte,
Michael. Yeah.
His forte is sort of the emotional take on things. That's what got that's how he got our attention at CNN so long ago. Is his articles could not necessarily be considered journalism or reporting. Rather, is sort of an emotional razzle dazzle, mostly about Trump and about golf and things like that. And I look, I do not pick Chris out of the crowd for nothing. He was very talented at this sort of punk rock razzle dazzle style of writing about things that was more or less pretty devoid of facts, but really the spiritual essence of what he was saying sort of resonated with the kind of your traditional anti-Trump person, which did very well for him for a while.
He was sort of the indie in mainstream.
They wouldn't let him on TV. He didn't go on TV. He was not, he was the YouTube guy. He was like their YouTube vlogger. But that, didn't last. When the CNN changed hands, he was fired or laid off or something, was made redundant. And went into the independent space, started a Substack, kind of had this realization that he didn't need the corporation. He finished his book that he had been working on for a while, and we cheered him. We cheered for Chris. It's time. Stay in the indie world. This is your zone. But boy, oh boy, has the past 24 hours gone absolutely south for Chris. One notable example is this tweet from Chris Shillzilla here as it loads on my screen. And loading. Okay, here it goes. So this was a quote tweet from J.A. Kaczynski. And J.A. Kaczynski said, kind of like journalists cheering people getting laid off over COVID shots. You know what? I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper into the thread. Because J.A. Kaczynski was replying to a tweet by Chris Shillzilla. He says this: "We'll never get who celebrate when other humans with families, mortgages, medical bills lose their jobs." And so he was talking about the LA Times. We shouldn't be so happy about LA Times layoffs.
500,000 views on that post by Chris.
500,000 views on the post. He's getting a lot of eyeballs, coming to the rescue of his corporate journalist buddies. Then J.A. Kaczynski says, kind of like journalists cheering people getting laid off over COVID shots. Zero sympathy here. The journalists now need to hustle and get real jobs. Hey, maybe learn to code. Enjoy. Ooh, learn to code. But Chris would not have this. Chris would not stand for his journalistic comrades to be told to learn to code and not get sympathy. They must get sympathy. They are journalists. We must have sympathy for them. And no, we cannot ask them to get their fingers grubby by learning to code like some sort of coal miner. But Chris wasn't having it. He says, in a quote tweet from that tweet, "It just didn't happen." Referring to journalists cheering people getting laid off from COVID shots. It just didn't happen, he says. And again, no journalist said learn to code, and neither did Biden. Ooh, oopsies. Oopsies, Chris. So he's really caught up in the emotional whirlwind of the media experiencing layoffs. Now, he didn't say any of this when, 1,000 layoffs at Amazon. He didn't say any of this when they were closing down coal plants or meat packaging plants. He didn't say any of this when the whole central, middle America was being gutted by globalist economic monopolies and things like this. No, it was when the LA Times fired 115 people. Now, thankfully, other people are doing their jobs, Gons, because this tweet got a community note, and this community note referenced Joe Biden's Learn to Code statement, which we can actually, Chris, if you're listening, Chris, look, Chris, don't get the wrong idea, okay? We are not here to benefit from your pain. We love you, Chris. We want you to do best. We are cheering for you. And staying independent is the way to go. You do not have to start shilling for the media corporations anymore. You don't have to do it. But he fell into some bad old habits, I think.
Yeah.
And that's bad old habit is just sort of saying whatever emotionally feels correct to you, even though it directly goes against the facts. And the facts is that journalists and Biden were telling people to code. Let's play the clip just for fun.
Anybody who could go down 300 to 3,000 feet in the mine, sure and hell can learn how to program as well. Give me a break. Anybody who can throw coal into a furnace can learn how to program, for God's sake.
Okay, so Chris, I'll give it to you. He didn't literally say the 3 words in order, learn to code, but he was exasperated at the idea that coal miners who, in Biden's mind, throw coal into a furnace, that is the opposite of coal mining, Biden, but okay. That's simultaneously sort of belittling the job of coal mining, which this entire country would not exist in the place that it does now if it weren't for coal miners. The coal mining industry and the coal mining era of the United States of America is one of the specific reasons was the abundance of energy from coal mining that got us to where we are. But of course, Biden and perhaps Chris don't like where we are, and so those coal miners need to learn to code. So whoopsie daisies. Sorry about that, Chris. He did get ratioed. He does sort of continue to get ratioed.
He got destroyed on this. It's
absolutely
unbelievable.
Destroyed.
1.6 million views on this post. 620 hearts.
620 likes out of 108 million views.
1.6 million now.
Okay.
And then 3,100 responses. Most of it showing why he's wrong, just documenting all the same videos. I mean, it's you got
but the official ratioing was the amount of retweets. When the retweets exceed the likes, I believe. Is that not the official math?
I thought it was just the response happening.
Yeah.
But yeah,
well,
it could be
either way,
the
the response is not great.
Yeah.
And here's, so people started reminding him about getting fired and how he got fired. He's experienced his own redundancies.
And so he got fired.
No, he starts giving us lessons, okay? And he says, lesson 1, this isn't about you, okay? Lesson 2, you were laid off, not fired. Yes, there is a difference. Laid off means you were a casualty of corporate restructuring. You didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I'm sure that's making them feel much better, Chris. Again, this appeal to the emotionality of the situation.
Sure. Yeah.
And then let's see here. By the way, just to help you out, Chris, we're here to help. Do not get the wrong idea. I'm here to help you. When you talk about, journalists not cheering on the firing of people during COVID. I just thought it was such a great example to take this from the LA Times itself, Los Angeles Times from January 28th, 2022. Headline, for many COVID-19 vaccine opponents, no jab means no job. I'm not going to read it to you, but I'll just tell you that they are not against this idea. They make quite a case for no jab, no job, and to just prove that it wasn't just one media outlet, and that in fact, when you follow the science, Chris, at the British Medical Journal, follow the science as it is loading up again. Okay, this is a study called The Ethics of Firing Unvaccinated Employees. Oh, well, we know that the media, like LA Times and CNN, they follow the science and they believe whatever the scientists say. And if you don't believe it, then you are some sort of deplorable in a basket. I think that's what, something to do with that. The ethics of firing an unvaccinated employees. I'll get to the fun part here. However, because this objection, meaning the objection of getting unwillfully vaccinated, because this objection does not necessarily entail the claim that vaccination is unnecessary for the effective and safe performance of certain jobs, those making this objection should have less of objection or no objection at all. In this paper, I shall argue that if one has reason to believe vaccination requirements can be justified for prospective employees, one should also believe they are justified for existing employees. And down at the bottom here, as a consequence, common objections made against vaccination mandates grounded solely in the harms that may be experienced by existing employees who are unwilling to be vaccinated should be considered unpersuasive. And as we all know, the people who lived through it, we know that the mainstream media found that unpersuasive. So, sorry, Chris. It doesn't matter the emotional atmosphere that you put around your tweets. And sure, you are a caring individual. I know this. I know this more than anyone, Chris. I know you more than you know yourself. You are a caring man, but that does not mean that facts don't exist. And you simply cannot tweet misinformation out to the world and expect to not be called out on it. Now, I do hope one of many of the laid-off journalists find solace in Chris as he attempts to be their guide, be their Sherpa into the world of independent media. Yes, he's the shaman. You can go do ayahuasca with Chris, and he will show you the way of starting a Substack. And somehow, against all odds, still having some sort of loyalty to the corporate news media who casts you aside, dear journalist, like you are some sort of redundant piece of garbage. I don't think that. The corporations think that. I wish all of these journalists luck on their journey into the independent space. We have called for the independence of media for a very long time, and I will give my own assurance to all the reporters who have been fired, no matter where you've been fired from. I will personally give you assurance that you do not need the mainstream media anymore. You never did need them. If you truly have journalism in your heart, you will be able to make a difference and survive this world without the corporate news media. Just look at us. We're surviving, and you can too. It does make me wonder, though, with Chris's sort of implicit support for corporate media. Like I said, you can take Chris out of CNN. You can't take CNN out of Chris. And it's like he is still loyal to some principality or power that is expressing itself, manifesting itself right in front of us. And I don't know if he knows this or not. But, I don't think he can quite be a shaman yet because he has yet to find that freedom in himself. And we'll be praying for you, Chris Shillzilla. Do you have anything to add to that?
I have a clip of Chris melting down a liberal and laughing in the background.
No!
Get out of context, Chris Shillzilla clip.
I would love... That's probably not on video, is it? That's just from his podcast?
It's from his podcast,
that'd be such a good gif to start replying to Chris with everything. But yeah, all right. Don't worry, Chris. A moment of weakness does not mean that you cannot get back on the independence train. But for those who love you and approve of your new life, we hope you find your way back. We hope you find your own strength. You don't need to revert back to the old ways. And yeah, value for value for the win, Chris. Get on it, buddy. Let's keep the show rolling, Gons, and remind everybody what day it is.
It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday.
Hey guys, know what day it is? Wednesday. Time for Canary Cry News.
Wednesday, my dudes. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Wow, that felt like more than usual.
No, same as usual.
Same one. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. If you didn't catch that, it is Wednesday. We're in the mid-section of the week here. We're excited to be with you and excited to bring you the rest of the show. Gons, did you have anything you wanted to talk about here? Any personal hijinks you wanted to get up to?
No, not really. I was just going to mention working on Age of Deceit 4 and trying to land the plane. There's a lot of little things that I got to iron out as we get
Correct answer. That was a test. You passed the test, Gons.
Oh, I did. Okay, great.
Yeah, Age of Deceit 4 is your life now.
That's my. It is my life. I'm sleeping a lot less because of it, but that's okay. It's a
which you weren't getting a lot of sleep to begin with.
True.
Yeah,
that's true. You're right. But yeah, so even less.
That's saying something. But the babysitter's helping. You got
helping.
Tuesdays. We've been getting a lot of work done on Tuesdays, so that's fun. That's different for us.
It is.
And we wanted to give everybody a heads up. Again, if you're watching this, you know, but if you're listening, wondering where the show went, we are not on YouTube. We got kicked off of YouTube for an undisclosed amount of time. We'll keep everybody posted on that as we get information. But the timing wasn't great because one of our friends of the show, Captain Titus Frost, had quite a moment. Recently, approaching Nikki Haley in a Chick-fil-A, which we got the story. We got the exclusive, baby. We spent some time with Titus on the line yesterday. Did not do it live, but you can look forward to it sometime between now and Friday. It was originally going to be the Friday show, but I mean, he's got so much heat on him, man. We might need to put it out earlier.
Yeah.
But thank you very much for that, Titus Frost. Everybody go check out Titus Frost on X and everywhere else. He does a bunch of content across the board that we think that you will like. And let's see, any other news besides that? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Well, let's go ahead and thank some executive producers.
Executive producer.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, folks, which means we take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels, or the principalities and powers that rule those high places. No. Indeed, we are entirely funded, not just by you, but by people who get value from the show. If you don't get value from the show, you ain't supporting the show, I'll tell you that much. And so it's the value for value model. We are not beholden to any advertisers. We do not participate in gathering up as much time and attention as we possibly can, only to turn around and sell it to a corporation for their mind control industry. No, we're entirely funded on the generosity and the participation of people in the paradigm shift that is value for value. We have been trapped for so long in the beast system sort of economic order for a very long time, and indeed so long that some people have, well, we all have lived our entire lives under this system, and it's very difficult for us to, I don't know, formulate the idea that we could get something for free and then put in time, talent, or treasure because we got it for free and got value. It's opposite, folks. It's an upside down pyramid, whatever you want to call it. It's a revolution. It's a rebellion. And so the producers of this show stick their fist in the air in rebellion against this beast system. And we hear their cries, and we're very touched when we see it happen. So executive producers are people who have produced for $100 or more for any individual episodes. And we appreciate them very much. Remember, you can produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. It's not just all about money. There are all sorts of ways to exchange value in this world. But the executive producers we like to thank here at the top.
Yep, let's do it.
Starting with the one, the only executive producer for today is executive producer Sir Alex Protocol, V2, Knight of the Berean Protocol. That's right.
Thank
he
you,
comes
Sir Alex
in
Protocol.
with his $100.33. 257 episodes in a row.
257. Wow.
257 and 53 episodes in a row as an executive producer. 53 executive producers.
There you go.
You know, I'm kind of dealing with a little bit of a crisis right now, Gons. I clicked on something, and I have no idea what it is, that has taken up my entire world in VR with our document. I'm like living inside of our notes document in a way that I cannot escape, and I cannot do anything else on my computer. I'm starting to
pull
panic.
up your virtual escape button.
Starting to panic. I know.
It's okay.
I have
it's okay. It's all right.
I
Take
have
a
it.
deep breath.
I
I
pressed
see your
escape.
pupils dilating.
Okay. Well, I just live here now. I just live in our notes document, and
so if I type something in it, will you see it typing on your brain? Is it gonna?
Yeah, it's like on the inside of my eyelids now. Anyways, thank you to our executive producer. You know, we got a pretty short list of producers, so I'm gonna just jam through it right now. Ready?
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get your attention.
I can't. Yeah, I cannot see you. I don't know where you're typing.
It's okay.
I don't
It's
know
all right.
what's going on.
Okay.
All right. Yes, we've got these producers who's also joined in to help this episode happen, and we appreciate them very much. They come in above $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show, and we thank them like this. Thank you, producer Ellie O.
Hold on one second. I just got kicked out of the room.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know if I'm just double checking things now because
it shows me that you're in the room.
No. I'm back. I just something swiped and I got kicked out. And I don't know.
Great.
If it
the gremlins, man, the Illuminati gremlins are inside the computer.
Let's see.
They don't like us
Priscilla's
talking about
unleashed
Chris
his bots.
or
He doesn't
YouTube.
like it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Here we go.
There we go, folks. You can't see it, but I can see it. He is working hard in the
All right, here we go.
cyberspace.
Who are we thanking? Sorry.
We're thanking producer Ellie O.
Ellie O. Thank you.
Yeah. Ellie O came in for 1111.
11.
And Elio actually came in last episode, and I just missed it. So apologies for that, but we're glad we got you on for this episode.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got producer Marty K.
Marty K. That's Sir Marty K, yeah?
Yeah, Sir Marty K, out of the wrong timeline.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. This creates a problem. He has an email he sent us, but I can't look at the email because I'm trapped.
You can't command tab out of there?
Command tab?
Yes.
Let me try. Well, what about this? Oh, okay. Well, it does have me cycling through different tabs now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I have the Gmail open. Do I have?
It should be just escape then. If you're probably in full screen, maybe Command F.
Oh,
Try command.
oh wait.
I love troubleshooting.
Okay, I
live
got
on air.
Command Escape got me something.
All right.
But not what I want. Okay, Command F. What is that going to do?
Either find something on the page or.
Oh no! It's just the tab
Reverse.
doesn't exist.
Okay,
Like I
good.
want the. I can't even. Hold on. I'm opening a new window. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. Sorry, Kick. I'm moving you. That is so annoying. All right, here we go. I'll find it. Sir Marty K, he's so good at sending notes, and I don't know why I didn't copy paste this one. I guess maybe.
Stall for 5 seconds. Here we go.
Thank you. We don't play that jingle enough. It's the catchiest jingle in the world, and it's meant for moments precisely like this. Okay, here's Sir Marty K's note.
Okay.
The subject was, I blame Bill Gates, which is always a winner.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like he sent some things.
Oh, boy.
He sent some MP3s.
Oh, MP3s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see if we can do this. But he says, hey, Gonzo, I forgot your birthday. Gosh darn it. I blame it on Bill Gates and his stupid My ID. Oh, that's his thing. Yeah, okay. So that is one of the things about Marty K, which is very fascinating, which is he is like blacklisted in his country because he doesn't have his vaccine ID. He says, I can't get the calendar because of him, but I have written your birthday on paper. So if they're going to be next year, I should remember it. There we go. And now he sent in, here are 2 eeks sound clips for you and delayed happy birthday, Gonzo, my Asian Padawan. Yours truly, Sir Marty K.
All right. Yeah, I think I got him here.
Give in to your eeks. With each passing moment, you make yourself more my servant.
I like the edit. Good stuff. Eeks. Eeks. Then there's this one.
Powerful.
All of your hatred and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
Don't sue us, Disney. This
Don't
is
sue
for
us.
entertainment purposes only.
Fair
It's
use.
not
Fair use.
Fair use. Appreciate it, Marty K. Appreciate that.
I do. And my gosh, I appreciate now being out of my prison of document.
Good.
That was freaking me out. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Marty K. As of this moment, that is the entire list of financial producers who made it in. Yeah. You know, it's that pendulum swings, Gons. It ain't your birthday anymore, buddy. All right.
Well, today is World Economic Forum Founded Day. I guess we know where the cash flow's going.
Yeah, everybody
WEF
had to do that.
Cashing in all their donations from the Davos there, probably.
Okay. Thankfully, since I was able to get out of this, I can see. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like. Oh, we had somebody join. Leo. Leo joined the Canary Cry Babysitters Club, getting the supply drop.
There we go. Thank you very much.
It just happened. Thank you very much, producer Leo. Okay, that's it. That's it for people who came in over 777, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got of course, our streakers came in. We'll thank our streakers. These are people who came in under $7.77, and they're on a roll, baby. Starting with Dr. Who Done Dat, 49 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Dr. Who Done Dat.
Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman, 10 episodes in a row.
Mrs. Tinfoil Hatman.
Sir Morv, Night of the Burning Chariots, 324 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Morv.
Veronica D, 253.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Dame Gale, 347.
Thank you, Dame Gale.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 379.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
And then Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Thank you, Sir Casey.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
393 on his way to 400. Very impressive. He has now produced more than 40%. I mean, I guess this is for a while. He's produced more than half of our entire catalog.
Yeah.
Of shows.
That's crazy. That's insanity.
That's a lot of numbers. Thank you, Sir Casey. Thank you to all of our financial producers for stepping up, feeling the vibe, getting value from the show, putting value back in, whether you're coming in once with an executive producership or you're coming in 400 times and on a streak, whatever it is, it means a lot to us. Again, it's not just the dollar amount. It is the warm and fuzzies, the very idea that you clicked on buttons to tell us that you appreciate what we do here and you want to keep it going, makes us feel all warm and fuzzy, especially because there's a not insignificant number of people who go through the process of clicking a bunch of buttons to tell me how much they don't like the show.
It's true. Probably more effort goes into that, more energy
I know,
goes into
that's...
that than to just help us out.
Maybe I don't know if we've ever sort of connected
you
that
want to capitalize
on air.
on that?
No,
$5, $10, different levels, number of characters that you can say to you. Basil's hate mail.
Well, I got another piece of hate mail recently. I think I handled it well. Somebody telling me I needed therapy, but hey, maybe I do. Maybe we all need a little bit of therapy once in a while.
Somebody emailed you this? Or was it just like
they contacted me. They contacted me. They were very thoughtful. Don't mistake me. Okay. This one was actually better than usual because it wasn't just vitriol. Okay. Now I did throw down the gauntlet that if people have hate mail, they leave it as a voice message. So we can play it on the show and they can hear the voice that God gave them saying the things out loud to someone they don't know on the internet. That is the rules here. But this one did not come in as a voicemail. It came in as a post. And to be honest, it was respectful. They were respectful, but still telling me my voice is shrill and I need therapy. Like, come on. Anyways, so that was a fun thing about yesterday. But it ended amicably.
Good.
Take that. You need therapy, not me. Anyways, let's, what are we doing? Thanks to our financial producers who make this show happen. Remember, you can produce with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to get involved. 2024 election year. It's gonna be crazy. It's all hands on deck here at the Canarium. And so do it. Do whatever value means to you. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more.
Flippy.
Flippy update. Do you want fries with that?
Uh-huh. That's right. It's the Flippy update. Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We used talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world, and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is coming from Yahoo, mirroring Salon. Salon, Guns. Salon, the magazine, usually found in salons. Salon, the magazine, is writing this. And I thought this was a good cap to a point that I've been harping on recently, which is one of the main dangers and indeed the main strategies of the powers and principalities ruling this place is to separate us from other humans. Together we are strong, separate we are weak. Let's get people away from other people so they're not in the, in the cafes or in the barber shops talking about how, some mandates or, whatever, Bill Gates or whoever. We got to keep people away because we cannot censor their voices in the same room at each other. So let's separate humans from other humans. It'll send people into depressive spirals because lack of human touch or any sort of human-to-human intimacy is now sort of forbidden. Ask Gen Z and their intimacy practices. It's part of the plan, folks, and it's not just, a weird and wacky way to talk about robots. And of course, I still maintain that the Flippy update is having an effect on robo-journalism because after I've been sort of harping on this for a while, suddenly Salon magazine, from salons, the headline is Ghost Kitchens and Digital Cafes, How Our Shared Spaces Are Losing Their Humanity. In 1902, Horn and Hardart opened the first automat in Philadelphia. The concept, which was a precursor to modern fast food establishments, featured rows of coin-operated vending machines, which would dispense a variety of ready-to-eat hot and cold dishes like cold-cut sandwiches, slabs of meatloaf, and slices of pie. Through the years, the automat became both a symbol of frugality. In his 1912 short story, The Automat, writer O. Henry described them as a mecca for the down-and-outs and convenience. It's interesting that the period in history we are now in is sort of reminiscent of the economic toils of the early 1900s. And so we're, of course, going to see an updated version of the automat. Though the popularity of the Horn and Hardart automat gradually dwindled as Americans ceased to live in a nickel-and-dime economy, and the last location eventually closed its doors in 1991. For a moment in time, the automat represented the first step towards a glimmering future free of pointless, time-consuming human contact, ostensibly leaving its inhabitants open for bigger and better things. In reality, the transition toward that future is a little clunkier and a little more fraught with questions about whether it's the only one we really want. Last spring, for instance, I stopped into a Starbucks in downtown Chicago on my way to an interview. There were no tables, no chairs, just a large television screen that showed customers' names chugging through a digital queue, eventually glowing a cool green to indicate that order was complete and ready for pickup. In late 2019, the international coffee giant had announced they were shutting down hundreds of their cafe locations in order to open a slate of pickup-only stores, an effort the pandemic seemed to only strengthen. And this is a big point as well. This is not just all a response to the pandemic. This movement happened before the pandemic, and the pandemic sort of,
supercharged.
Kind of coincidentally. It's like the world they were preparing for came early as to convince the rest of the world that their corporate plans were a good idea. Since I was on a time crunch, okay, we get it. They bought a they bought a coffee from a robot. The robot bartender, for instance. Sorry, moving back. Of course, science fiction has long predicted the advent of fully automated restaurants and bars, regarding these futures as equally aspirational and apocalyptic. The robot bartender, for instance, is a common character used to signal this reality. And it's interesting. They do talk about some science fiction stemming from all the way in the middle of the 20th century about the robot bartender being sort of, interestingly, the cultural touchstone for like, you're in the future. Whoa. A human isn't even behind the bar. They talk about ghost kitchens, which are popping up all over the place. Fast food companies, the successors of the original automat, seem eager to find out if this is going to work. So McDonald's launched theirs. We know this. We're talking about robots taking over the world, folks. And that's really what it is the world. You go out into the world. If you live in an American city, the world is economic epicenters, shopping malls, stores. That is what the world is. Now, if you've moved out to the country and got some emus and are sort of trying to do it a little differently, part of the transition of that is realizing, the world isn't just a bunch of stores. But that's for another podcast. They end this with, in the quest for convenience and efficiency, the evolution of dining spaces from the historic automats to today's automated pickup-only establishments reflects a trajectory toward a future that's more streamlined, but one that perhaps forgets the soul of shared spaces, is undeniably human. Ooh.
This reminds me, there was a clip Elon Musk shared, or I think of Elon Musk talking about one of his sons that has mild autism or something. And he was saying how he didn't understand. He never liked going out because he didn't understand going out. And then we went out to the restaurants, once a week or whatever. And he said something, was so profound. And he was like, oh, people go out to eat with strangers.
Yes, right.
And it was like, oh, so profound. And it's like, yeah, I guess we're there. We're there. We're at the point where that thought is profound. That
yeah,
being
exactly.
out in public and eating amongst strangers is like this. That's why we do it. That's the reason. Well, maybe that's not the stated reason, but it's certainly a psychological, emotional, social thing going on. So
yeah, I mean, that's a lot. For some people, that's their only interaction with other humans is somebody at a cash register or sitting at a table next to them. I will mention, as of early March 2023, Jumbo had more than 125 slow checkouts across the Netherlands and Belgium. So, hey, Sir Marty K, Jumbo got slow checkouts. The spokesperson for the company told the publication, it's a simple but potent antidote for what many researchers have classified as a global loneliness pandemic, and the ways in which isolation can harm both individual and public health. Third places, that's the term originally coined by sociologist Ray Oldenburg, refers to the places where people spend time between home, the first place, and work, the second place. According to the Brookings Institute, for many young Americans, third places are increasingly virtual. Quote, but as Oldenburg notes, the most effective ones for building real community seems to be physical places where people can easily and routinely connect with each other. Churches, parks, recreation centers, hairdressers, and gyms, and even fast food restaurants. And in that list, almost all of them are set to be taken over by robots entirely. Certainly fast food restaurants. Gyms is not far behind. Hairdressers, we've seen this pop up in all sorts of different forms, including the nail painting robot. Recreation centers, I don't know. Parks, I don't know. But churches being another example from COVID of just how many churches, a place where people came to gather, around not just their love of God and search for, divine truth and love, but also, connect with other human beings. And more, that is just entirely disconnected, not even counting the AI, sermons being written, stuff like that.
Yeah, we have a clip that we've played many, many times. It was sort of a meme within our Canarium for years.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
And for people who may not know, that's a clip from the robot of Philip K. Dick. It was like an interview several years ago. These interviewers came to the Dick household, and they had like a robot of Philip K. Dick.
Yes.
That's one of the things he says. So truly, I mean, talking about the philosophy that's now disseminating into society. It's been around and it's been sitting in science fiction and stuff, but there is this weird cyclical thing where a lot of books that were written in like the late 1800s, early 1900s have like a weird, I don't know, not prophetic might be too strong of a word, but some kind of archetypal pattern that's repeating in our generation today. It's like some kind of cyclical thing going on. But I've noticed that. I've noticed a lot of references to that period. And because I think that was the period when science fiction was truly born, the way we have it today. They started to see, okay, where is technology? Where is the third industrial revolution taking us? And I think most people that were thinking that way, and people had more time to, I think at that time, prior to all the computers, people were thinking more. So it's just an interesting
speaking and
reflection.
trading ideas.
And speaking, yes, and being in public places and like talking to people and stuff.
Well, and the thing I find especially relevant today with all this, Civil War talk going around that's gone completely mainstream. I mean, you talk about the founding fathers. It was famously the coffee shops of the early American civilization that the rebels that were our founding fathers would gather and just like chat about revolution and chat about everything. It was these coffee shops that get all hopped up on caffeine and be like, yeah, man, let's start our own country. Yeah. And, you know, being sort of the intellectual base for the American Revolution.
Was the hooded figure there? You know, that hooded figure that appears throughout history? That
There's always a hooded figure.
They're always at the coffee shops.
Yeah, there. You go to Starbucks, there's always the hooded figure at Starbucks, waiting, watching, biding his time. Yeah, and, you know, so no wonder not just the easy targets like the government or the WEF or whatever, and it's not an organization. What we have here is a spiritual principality that is convincing the technocrats, and then through that principality, the technocrats are convincing all of us through the tyranny of comfort and convenience, much like the YouTube viewers of this show, to give up more and more and more of not just their humanity or their relationships with others, but opportunity. I mean, giving up your opportunities might be the most valuable thing that you as a child of God has on this planet, is putting yourself in the place where opportunity finds you, where God can sort of orchestrate meetings and connections and relationships and being around other people. I mean, to rob a society, to rob a people of their opportunity to find each other, whether it's for relationship, whether it's for friendship, whether it's for camaraderie, whether it's for revolution, whatever it is, that is like the most, I don't know, it's just the heaviest thing that you could possibly do, that it can't be done just through an earthly organization. Because as we saw with COVID, an earthly organization tells you to separate from people. Boom. Lots of people know that that is not right. We're not going to do that. We're staying away. We're doing whatever we're doing. And an earthly organization can't tell us to stay away from other people. But when it's a principality, when it's an infection of the spirit from the top down in society, and if you're really not careful and that comfort and convenience starts to tyrannize you, you're not just giving away tangible things, you're giving away destiny in a way. So just keep an ear out, keep a spiritual antenna out as society keeps moving this way, because they would love nothing more than to completely separate us all from each other. Makes it a much easier job for them to get their master plan going.
Yeah,
and that's your
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's your Flippy update for the day, but you got something to add?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to wrap it up and transition here with, if you don't mind, just a quick quote from Neil Postman. He wrote the book Amusing Ourselves to Death, Public Discourse in the Age of Show Business, published in 1985. Basil, I was just a 2-year-old lad running around.
So
he said this, quote, Americans no longer talk to each other. They entertain each other. They do not exchange ideas. They exchange images. They do not argue with propositions. They argue with good looks, celebrities, and commercials. This is 1985. This is before the internet.
Yeah.
He already saw it coming. And then, quote, when a population becomes distracted by trivia, when cultural life is redefined as a perpetual round of entertainments, and serious public conversation becomes a form of baby talk, when, in short, a people become an audience, and their public business is vaudeville act, then a nation finds itself at risk. Culture death is a clear possibility. And I would argue that, we've had sort of a culture death. The rise of populism in this country right now is because of that culture death spiral that we've been on. So, something interesting. But, there's stuff that we need to worry about that, despite the populist movement here, there's other things of concern.
'Cause I'm DNA.
Start with the good news here. Here it is from Nebraska.tv, and this is an ABC affiliate. Headline: Bill aimed at protecting genetic data advances in Nebraska legislature. So there you go. Bravo, Nebraska, for moving in this direction of genetic privacy. I believe this will become an important issue as we continue into the days of Noah here. It says, your privacy was the focus of a debate in the Nebraska legislature on Tuesday. The Adopt the Generic Information Privacy Act advanced with a 39-0 vote. It would require consumer genetics companies to make it easier for people to ask for their genetic material to be destroyed. The company would then have to destroy it within 30 days. I found this interesting because this doesn't quite give people the right to their genetics or genetic data. It's just the right for these companies, or for the right for the people to tell these companies to destroy it or just make the process easier. But then how do you know that these companies don't have a backup somewhere?
Or that it hasn't been copied and sent to the CIA already.
Or just on the black market or what? It's just, there's just a lot of problems here. But at least we're moving in the right direction, I suppose. It would also require the customers this permission in several instances. Quote, LB308 ensures that the consumer is in control of their genetic data at all times and would require separate expressed consent for the following: before DNA is extracted from a biological sample and analyzed, or before a biological sample is stored, for genetic data to be used for research purposes, for genetic data to be shared with a third party, and for genetic data to be used for marketing purposes.
Perfect.
Said Lincoln Senator Elliot Boster, District 29. So I think if this is the pattern that we're with the populist movement, this is the direction that we're going, that's probably good for the United States. I think we are savvy enough at this point in the technium to ensure that stuff like this, and with all the leaks and everything else going on, this is something that I think we need to all push. I don't want to get too political on the show or anything, but this is something that I can get behind. What about you, Basil?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, good.
I was reading an email about somebody who wanted to get a psychic channeler on our show. And
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I don't think they scouted us quite properly.
No,
but
we get a lot of offers, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So sorry. Yes, you're talking about the DNA database.
Yes. It's not perfect. I think, they have the right idea with the consumer being in control of their genetic data at all times. But how that looks practically and technologically, I don't know that we have that all in place right now.
Well,
it's still
too little, too late, unfortunately.
Right, for the most part, yeah.
But again, it's a little dangerous because if you give people the idea that they have control over their DNA databasing, sure, they send in they fill out the form, they click send, they get a little message like, thank you, okay, we're going to do it. And then what's if there isn't a strict supervision or a what's the word? I don't know. If there's no consequences, if there's nobody overseeing it, and even if there is, of course, as we know, unfortunately, we got to be a little black-pilled about that because it's just like, well, they've definitely said this stuff before with all sorts of other data. I mean, remember the world of big data? Ooh. Early 2010s, there was no AI, there was no blockchain, these weren't the buzzwords. The buzzwords was big data. Whoa, big data. And there was all this talk about, you can control your own big data. And sure, you can send an email to a data company, but you just have no idea whatsoever. And by the time they get to it in their stack of papers, they've already sold the data like 10 times.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is also, while it is indicative of where, I guess, suppose not positive per se, but just a more awareness when it comes to these types of issues, when it comes to the general public. This also could be one big Trojan horse to get everybody's genetic data on blockchains, and then you can control where it goes They got all kinds of technologies rolling out now, ZK rollups, all kinds of stuff that allows you to operate on the blockchain without being totally transparent, but verifying without sharing all the data, stuff like that. So there's all this nuanced technology coming to the forefront, but it's just one of those things. And you're right. How do you verify any of it that they would actually delete it or terminate it or destroy the information or whatever? I just don't.
You got to trust them in the first place for that to have anything to do with anything.
Yeah. So, but again, right direction, because there's a little more of a psyop going on in Massachusetts, because according to masslive.com, headline here, can you help catch a killer? Hamden DA invites public to expand DNA database to solve cold cases.
Oh, not this again.
Come on, guys, we got to catch the bad guy. Give us your DNA.
See, and it's so deceptive. It's so deceptive, and people don't even know. I'm having a hard time remembering, but we've covered something like this before. It's a different state that did this exact program, and then of course the data got sold to China or whatever. I don't have it right in front of me, but this has happened before, and I think the fact that I'm having problems remembering the details means there's probably a whole lot of people in Massachusetts who are just ready and willing to try to help solve a murder, and maybe not even thinking through that the way you're going to solve this murder is if somebody related to you has murdered someone. You're ratting out your family members.
And then imagine all the other things that you might find out about these people. So,
their proclivity for alcoholism.
Right. All kinds
going
of
back
stuff.
to the advertising angle.
There's a little bit of not being able to read the room, because it says here, investigators hope to parlay the explosion in popularity of DNA ancestry testing to make.
What is this, 2014?
That's what I'm saying. Did they not realize that the sentiment is dead? The data has leaked.
It's been dead for so long.
The sentiment is completely dead. So anyway, they're a little oblivious to what's going on. But you got this fella up here holding up the kit and the whole deal. So there's that. All right, so that's another angle to it. But there's even more, Basil.
Okay.
Because, we're leaving terra firma for this one. This is coming from Yahoo.com, mirroring GeekWire. And the headline, Milestone Moonlander Mission Targets an otherworldly frontier for DNA storage. Okay, I think we've talked about this product or project a little while ago, but this was a couple weeks.
Didn't this crash? Wasn't there a crash for a DNA spaceship a little while back or something?
Maybe. This one was launched at the beginning of January, so after the first week of January. So
okay,
I decided to run with it because I think it still might be up there. But it says here, a mission to send a commercial lander to the moon, set for launch in a couple of days, so this must have launched on the 11th or so of January, will bring the fruition of projects that have been in the works for years, including projects that aim to put DNA into cold storage on the final frontier. Pittsburgh-based Astrobotics robotic peregrine lander is scheduled to begin a circuitous 40-day trip to the moon with liftoff from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, 2:18 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. PT Sunday. NASA will stream the video, blah, 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 blah. This marks the first launch for United Launch Alliance's next-generation Vulcan Centaur rocket and the first use of the BE-4 engine built by Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin space venture for Vulcan's first stage booster, a booster coming nearly 10 years after the partnership between ULA and Blue Origin was announced. A successful touchdown next month, this was in February, would go into the history books as the first soft landing of a commercially built spacecraft on the lunar surface. In fact, the first lunar landing of any U.S.-built spacecraft since Apollo 17 in 1972. I think Japan allegedly just landed in Japan too, right? So it's all, the whole theater's starting up again. Among the payloads placed aboard the lander is the Iris mini rover, which would become the first U.S.-built vehicle to wheel around the moon since the Apollo era. Several NASA-supported payloads will take measurements at the landing site around a region known as the Gruithuisian domes during a scientific mission that's projected to last a couple of weeks. Other payloads include micro robots from Mexico,
Ooh.
an art project called Moon Arc. Mementos and bits of cryptocurrency. There's going to be some Doge up there, apparently. Some Doge and Bitcoin. And then there's the DNA. Samples of DNA either contributed by donors or synthesized to contain coded information will be riding on the Peregrine lander as well as the Vulcan rocket's Centaur 5 upper stage. Now here it is. This is what I was talking about. The synthesized to contain coded information. This is storing information on DNA. This is going to become a bigger thing as we go along here. DNA on the moon. The DNA samples destined for the moon are part of Arc Mission Foundation's Lunar Library 2, a data storage disk that's roughly the size of a DVD. Most of the library consists of smaller disks of nickels that have more than 60 million pages of pictures, text, and data etched into them, creating stacks of nanofiche records. Remember microfiche when you were a kid in the library? But now they got the nanofiche. The disk is packed aboard the Peregrine lander and yada, yada, yada. So there you go. You got the DNA on there. And then go into some more details here. If you scroll down a little more, it says the DNA archives demonstrate how data can be packed even more densely. Samples of DNA are encapsulated in thin layers of paper that are sandwiched between the nickel discs and sealed with a type of epoxy resin and Spivak calls artificial amber. So here, it's like the Matrix or something. Other samples consist of synthesized DNA using the molecules 4-base alphabet, that's ACGT, to encode data that could represent text or even the LOL cat pictures and music videos. The project is spearheaded. Lolcats. Okay, sorry. The project is spearheaded by the University of Washington's Molecular Information Systems Lab in partnership with Microsoft Research and Twist Biosciences.
Twist.
Yep, and then just a quote at the end here. The whole point of doing DNA storage, DNA data storage, is to make the data very, very dense. About 1 million times denser than what we can do with electronic forms today, CZ said. Quote, it's very durable. In fact, there are some samples that are an order of 800,000 to 1 million years old that were read. And since it's very dense and durable, it's also very light.
Ooh, well, Gons, that's great news that it's dense and durable, because January 19th, Forbes magazine, Peregrine moonlander carrying human remains crashes back to Earth. The troubled Peregrine moonlander made a fiery return to Earth on Thursday, carrying a payload that includes human remains and NASA experiments, according to an update from its Pittsburgh-based maker Astrorobotic. An unfortunate end after a fuel leak dashed hopes of it becoming the first private craft to land on the lunar surface. Is this the same one? Peregrine
Looks
lander?
like it. Peregrine. Yep, there it is.
Sorry, Peregrine lander.
Nah, see, I think the handoff happened. They took all the DNA up there, and then they're like, well, we don't need the rest of this stuff.
They bonked the firmament.
Yeah, they hit the firmament.
Just a little bonk,
the DNA
bounce
passed
back.
right through.
Fiery re-entry. Astrobotic said it lost contact with Peregrine just before 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, suggesting a controlled re-entry over open water, per its predictions. I think this was the one that had like some DNA from George Washington. Did it say anything about that?
It said select. It didn't say anything about George Washington.
Okay, I saw something else that they had like put some
you know
other.
What? Here you go. Let me see. Celestis is adding some star power to the flight. This is back to that other article. The manifest includes some dearly departed Star Trek luminaries, Gene Roddenberry, James Scotty Doohan, DeForest Bones Kelly, and Nichelle Yeoh Nichols. There's also hair samples, including bits of DNA from 3 presidents, George Washington, Dwight Eisenhower, and John F. Kennedy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. President hair coming crashing back to Earth. You know, it's so funny because the idea is like, hey, let's take some priceless stuff and we'll land it on the moon. We'll raise a bunch of money. We'll make it a big event. It'll be a pretty big deal. We'll take priceless, irreplaceable DNA from famous figures and the ashes from TV stars will land it on the moon and they'll live there forever, indefinitely. Whoopsie daisies! It's all caught on fire and came crashing down into the ocean.
Judgment, Basil. Judgment for the people. Either that or what they're not telling us is the pirates took it. Some kind of space pirates, got in there and took all the stuff, and we're gonna see it on the black market.
The aliens, the Nephilim, the wandering spirits were like, oh, they're just sending us DNA now. Great, thank you. And then through the envelope back down to Earth.
This Celestis, there's a picture of the Celestis DNA swab kit, and it looks like it's in like a case. It's got a certificate.
Very
it's got
bougie.
Super bougie DNA test kit, make you feel all special. Well, there you go. All right. Well, the saga ends, I guess. Maybe no DNA up there, or maybe Putin shot it down or something, or maybe the Japanese shot it down. Maybe the Japanese were like, "No, we're up here now."
You never know. I mean, there's a lot of occultists in this, a lot of occult history in the spacefaring industry, and a lot of occultists are very interested in what's out there. And I think that's relevant to our next story, Gons.
Yes, sir.
This girl must be practicing witchcraft.
Just a big update. Shouldn't be catching anybody by surprise. We've talked about the University of Exeter's master's program in occult and magic. I forget what it is. Occult and magic sciences or something. Creating an expert class of trained occultists that will serve as news commentators and experts on current events and world affairs. And we've got a little update here. MindMatters.ai, a little side project of somebody, I think, here. And the headline is, will scientists be forced to consider the occult as science?
Do it.
Will
Do it,
they?
or you shall be disowned. We shall curse you.
Will scientists be forced to consider the occult as science? Little subheadline here. When the World Economic Forum invited a witch to Davos to offer incantations, it was more than just window dressing. Oh, was it? Because they certainly said it was just, cultural. But I guess maybe not. In the aftermath of the recent plagiarism scandal at Harvard University, and if you think that's a weird place for this article to start, I agree with you. They're going to tie in President Claudine Gay and her plagiarism scandal with occult sciences. At Harvard University, in which President Claudine Gay had to resign, one commentator at the Wall Street Journal reminded readers of something she had said earlier. Her earlier disastrous testimony before Congress on anti-Semitism paved the way for the scandal. Her response to the subsequent widespread criticism was that she had failed to convey, quote, my truth. Hold on to that phrase. It represents a shift in the intellectual currents of our time, quote, my truth, or for grammatical convenience, quote, private truth, is making serious headway against public truth. Yeah, no kidding. That's what the postmodern elites have wanted for years, and then they turn around and weaponize against alternative facts and the other side. That headway is beginning to impact science, as we shall see in later posts. But first, it impacts culture. A witch at Davos. In line with this shift, the recent World Economic Conference at Davos in Switzerland was addressed by, among other persons, a witch doctor who offered incantations and hexed the stage.
Did you see this?
I did. I saw clips.
Yeah, this woman with, she's, I guess, a witch, doing this incantation, and then she was like blowing air, just breathing on all the people there. It's almost like she was giving COVID to everybody.
Hexing the stage, gotta hex the stage at the World Economic Forum. Some saw this as a sign of greater enlightenment today. Quote, the witch doctor's enactment embedded. By the way, there was also another instance of satanic incantation at I think a Washoe County planning meeting or something. Another Satanist giving the invocation at a public hearing thing. So that's in the news. Then, of course, we had the witch doctor at WEF. It's becoming very popular. The witch doctor's enactment, embedded within the broader context of global dialogues, created a striking contrast. Attendees experienced firsthand a collision of distinct worldviews, from the rational and analytical domain of economics and politics to the esoteric and spiritual realm of witchcraft. The intersection of these contrasting approaches symbolizes the collective attempt to understand and address global challenges from all angles. I can think of an angle that they're not including, Gons. Witchcraft did not used to have so high an intellectual reputation. Hello, folks. I just can't stop calling it. It just hurts. It hurts. Lest anyone think that this invitation signals a newfound attention to spirituality. Let me read that again. Lest anyone think that this invitation signals a newfound attention to spirituality, Catholic News Agency wonders, quote, would it have occurred to you to invite a priest to say a prayer? So the dichotomy being presented by this article is, don't think that this is about spirituality, because they're not going to invite a priest to do it. It is specifically a cult. It's a specifically witchcraft that they're interested in, not a broad sort of global look at the beliefs of people around the world. No, it is witchcraft. No. Back to the article. No, it would not have occurred to them. There are probably far more serious Christians in the world than serious adherents of witchcraft, but Christianity makes public, not private, truth claims, and that makes it unwelcome. Truth claims, Gons. Put another way, people can go away and forget about the witch's private truths because they all have private truths of their own. But the great religions, including Christianity, claim to interpret a universal reality. That is the perspective that is losing its shine. It's been centuries since witches were actually persecuted. The Salem witch trials, 1692 to 1693, were only possible because the inhabitants of the Massachusetts Bay Colony actually believed that the witches could harm them. In modern times, witches have been figures of fun or staples of the B-movie Friday Night Frights, with occasional forays into serious popular literature and film, Harry Potter. Thus, it was unsettling to learn in 2017 that a number of feminists had quite seriously taken to witchcraft to cast spells on then-President Donald Trump. BBC. University of Newcastle professor of ancient history and classical languages, Marguerite Johnson, noted at the time, warnings about the Trump spell from both supporters and detractors flew around the internet. Some experienced witches warned about the potential repercussions of amateurs participating without knowing what they were doing. Witch Queen Leslie McQuaid, for instance. Okay. Have you heard of Witch Queen Leslie McQuaid?
Of course. My favorite. It's in my favorite list.
Opposed the event and helped organize a magical, with a K, resistance to this evil nonsense. So even the witches are saying it's evil to try to curse Trump. In other words, they actually believed in it. There's no support from modern science-driven culture for any such belief. But as long as it's held as a private truth, the feminists experienced no embarrassment. By contrast, Christians who opposed the practice were subtly ridiculed. Not very subtly, in my opinion, but okay. Subtly ridiculed, primarily because they are proclaiming as a public truth that witchcraft is evil. Here's the bigger picture. While interest in private salad bar spirituality has boomed in the last decade, interest in traditional public truth religion has declined. It was noted at the New Yorker in 2019 that astrology was gaining a broad public acceptance and that hadn't been seen in 4 decades. We are told the millennials see, quote, no contradiction between using astrology and believing in science. Then they have a quote here. I guess I'll read it. We're almost done. Meanwhile, more than half of young adults in the U.S. believe astrology is a science. Compared to less than 8% of the Chinese public, the psychic services industry, which includes astrology, aura reading, mediumship, tarot card reading, and palmistry, among other metaphysical services, grew 2% between 2011 and 2016. It is now worth $2 billion annually. according to the industry analysis from IBIS World. $2 billion. This is where
missed the boat.
Yeah, this is the classic joke that we're in the wrong business. But in this case, I think I'll stick to my business. The University of Exeter in Britain now proposes to offer a master's degree in witchcraft, magic, and occult science. That raises a question. Will science faculties and publications be forced to accept witchcraft as a science? Understandably, readers might scoff at the idea, but wait! As a proclaimer of public truths, science may prove as vulnerable as religion. And that's the end of that. So they're starting to see it, Guns. They're starting to see what we see. They're sure a little bit late on the uptake, but I think some of the bigger events like the World Economic Forum has really brought this to light. And look, we don't hate science. We love true science. There is science, and then there's whatever the heck the news wants us to believe. They're two different things. But the process of experimentation and observation is what has gotten humanity where it is. Not the corporately funded mass pop science that just puts you in the in-group and not the out-group. Not that. That science would have no problem recognizing witchcraft as a science. But this could spell like the end of humanity, in all honesty. If the occult sciences get sort of integrated and forced to be recognized as science, where does the world go from there? Nowhere but down. It's absolutely nuts.
Well, yeah, I also think that there's a reason why there's passages in the Bible about how the church is going to do some pretty crazy things in the end times. It's not just all evil stuff. There's going to be supernatural stuff that the church is doing too, like healings and all kinds of stuff. So it's an interesting time, you know. Maybe there's a role for the church to play in this, obviously, in this age. But I am looking at this author of the article here, Denise O'Leary. She wrote the book The Spiritual Brain, a neuroscientist's case for the existence of the soul. And she's about to publish The Human Soul, What Neuroscience Shows Us About the Brain, the Mind, and the Difference Between the Two, coming in 2025. So
okay. Yeah, it's really hard to tell from the story kind of exactly where she's
coming
lands.
From. Yeah, it looks like she's in that she's like a Heiser for the
a little Middle Earth
or something,
witchcraft,
like
Middle Earth or something.
Yeah. So just bringing the supernatural to the hard sciences. So very interesting.
Yeah, I actually really appreciated this about this article because you can't really tell if she's on a side, and it's like, my goodness, who knew that sort of journalism about witchcraft could be sort of unbiased? I don't know. Maybe there's some bias in there, but it's
a little bias, maybe. But yeah, just at least trying to create...
The point about Christianity was great,
right? That's what I'm saying. At least acknowledging the other side of the conversation there. So and seeing the obvious people being left out of the room in that situation. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there you go, folks. Let's take a second. Do we have any voicemails or anything?
We do. I was thinking, because of time, if we just blast through this last article and then we'll do all the thanking at the end. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Advancing out the arts.
Advanced Antarctica.
Experts agree. Penguins.
We'll start it off real quick. This is BBC. Climate change. 4 new emperor penguin groups found by satellite. Basil, can you give me your best British accent to read this first line of the article here?
I don't have a good British accent, but I'll try. Can I do it in Russian? For new emperor penguin colonies. 4 new emperor penguin colonies have been identified in Antarctica from satellite imagery. It brings the number of known nesting sites around the White Continent to 66. That was the Queen's English, I believe.
Sure. There you go. Yeah. The White Continent, 66. I think this is a direct attack on Route 66, the American culture. They're just trying to bring us down, Basil. I don't like it.
Well, they are doing the thing. I mean, BBC, as you know, if you're new to the show, Antarctica is a messaging continent. Not, it is used to message. I don't know, the plans for the future that the elites and the
white
occultists have
continent
for the rest of us. It is a utopia for rich white liberals, free from inequality, but also free from the riffraff. It is the white continent, the white desert, and now it has 66 nesting sites for penguins, Nephilim penguins. Execute Order 66.
We'll control them with toileting.
So NBC News took a little bit more detailed approach to this story. Their headline reads as follows: New colonies of emperor penguins revealed by bird poop visible from space.
Penguin sewer surveillance.
It's all coming together, Basil.
It's
I don't know
all
why.
coming together.
I don't know why.
It's all coming together.
London, poop stains are rarely cause for celebration. Look, they're not potty training a child, but they are the reason Antarctic research have been able to identify 4 new colonies of emperor penguins, a species threatened with extinction by climate change. A scientist from the British Antarctic Survey used satellite imagery to spot telltale patches of the penguins' guano. I think this is where we've talked about the guano of the penguins, Basil. I don't know when.
Bill Gates must be
Gates?
Shivering with delight.
Visible from space as a series of brown smudges against the vastness of the white continent. How racist can you be? Come on, folks.
It's true.
This is so racist.
The dirty brown bits in the white continent.
The brown smudges. They just monitored the brown smudges. The guano. Guano sounds racist.
This is unacceptable. Unacceptable.
I don't know. I don't want to read the rest of this.
No, we don't have to. But they are spying on Nephilim penguins from space. They certainly know where all the Nazi bases are. They're using sewer surveillance from space. That's a new one. Thanks, Bill Gates. There's been a movement since the beginning of COVID. Again, one that people ignored for a long time. Yeah. And here we are. What other sewer surveillance can they do from space? We won't know until it's too late.
The pictures they have here, I mean, they're just as blurry as all the other pictures for stuff. Some brown smudges. That could be a coffee stain on a lens. How do you know that that's...
Yeah, who put coffee on my space lens?
One of the flippy arms up there. So anyway, there you go. I mean, whatever. But this is just one of those fun stories. But
no, not whatever.
Penguin.
It ties together everything. People think we're so stupid. We've gotten so much mail over the years. Why are you paying attention to sewer surveillance? That's gross. You're being blue. Talk about Jesus more. Look, the sewer surveillance is like the most important thing for the beast system. And of course, Nephilim penguins, you can't ignore those. Not saying they're the most important thing, but they're getting added together, folks, all on the white continent of Antarctica. Once again, if this is a simulation, it's all plugged into Canary Cry News Talk, so you're in the right place.
Yeah, apparently. There you go. Okay, let's thank some people and then get out of here. So we have some speak pipe to do.
Okay.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Go to canarycrynewstalk.com. On any of the pages, there's a green tab on the right side or the bottom. Click on it. It'll open up a little window that allows you to record an audio message through your device, a message that can last up to 90 seconds. If it's a private message for us, make sure to tell us it's private. You can leave a pre-show prayer or just a message for the people of the Canarium. We're going to kick it off here with Rochelle.
Happy Monday, Canarians. I wanted to do Psalm 33 for you. So listen up, all you Illuminati. Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous, for our praise is comely and bright. Praise the Lord with the harp and sing, with the psaltery and the 10 strings. Compose new worship songs, skillfully play along. For the word of the Lord is right, and his works are done in light. He loves righteousness, he loves justice. The earth is full of Adonai's deep love. By his word the heavens were made, and the depths of the sea were laid. He merely spoke, and the universe began. It appeared at his command. I'll do part 2 on Wednesday. Stay strong for Jesus.
Thank you very
Rochelle.
much, Rochelle.
Yeah, we're behind on that. Sorry about that, but we'll catch the second
We're
half.
behind on a few things, so if people are waiting for some stuff, just know we have it. It's on the list. It's just been hard to fit everything in recently.
Yep, and then we have another message here from Eyes to See for Me.
Hello, Canarium. I just want to take a moment to specifically thank the Canary Cry Babysitters Club. Because of you, Basil and Gons were able to deliver, and we were able to receive what I believe, in my humble opinion, was a very fun 3.5-hour show. No haste, no waste, just good taste. Thanks all.
Canary Cry Babysitters Club.
That's great. I love that.
Thank you. Eyes to See for me.
People should be leaving more praise for other Canarians on the voicemail. That's great.
Yeah,
Thank you
it's a
very
great way to
much.
do it. Yep. Okay, we don't have any audio producers for this episode, at least when I did my gathering. We do have one art, though.
One art, please.
And it comes from Sir Dove. And let me make sure that people who are viewing can see. And this note from Sir Dove reads as follows. Peace. For today's artwork, I made a heartwarming CCNT ASPCA ad for you guys to use on the social medias. I was going to send in some Basil's Bunker artwork this week, but I'll send in the bumper sticker, t-shirt design, and advertisements for next week's shows. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Ooh, I love the tease. I love the art tease
I
from
know,
Sir
art
Dove.
tease, yeah.
I like having something to look forward to. This is hilarious. It's a nice little ad for CCNT, ASPCA, another streaming platform censorship appeal. My goodness, that worked
so
really
good.
well. In the arms of the angels, give them a chance to be loved for less than a cup of coffee a day. Help find these podcasters a forever home. Donate now. Fly away from here. Yeah, it's true. That's us, Gons. We're dirty little kittens needing a home. I am being told that we're also being shadow banned on Rumble, unfortunately.
How are we being shadow banned on Rumble?
Well, some people are saying that they're getting unsubscribed from us.
Really?
Automatically.
Come on, Rumble.
Which we got used to on YouTube. That was happening all the time on
It's a
YouTube.
little disappointing if it's happening on Rumble.
Yeah, YouTube would cap our listener growth, and if anybody tried to follow us, it would unsubscribe them. And so I'm hearing that on Rumble, but what the heck, Rumble? What, are we not Trumpy enough for you? What's the deal? Come on.
We should just for the Rumble algos, we should just MAGA out on one of these episodes.
You know,
be super MAGA.
We got an email from somebody. I don't think they're with Rumble, but they're on Rumble. And, they're saying, hey, thanks for lining up with American values, I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's where we belong. We're with our people. But something about Rumble, we're at least not getting the freedom we would expect from Rumble, which, like I said, it's a weird show. We're the niche of the niche of the niche of the niche. I mean, it's bad enough that we're Christian, but now we're like fringy prophetic Christians, plus we're conspiracy theorist prophetic Christians, plus we're fringy conspiracy theorist prophetic Christians who like to laugh. It's just the whole thing.
Yep. Okay. What do we got? We got microfiction, and then I got to get out of here. So,
okay.
Let's see.
Let me make sure I can scroll down to it so I don't have to restart you. Okay. Is this from Stefan S?
Microfiction.
I think we have one from Stefan S. and one from Jones, if I'm not mistaken. So here's the one from Stefan S.
Zoe, expert ufologist, retweeted Matt Walsh's commentary. She agreed the aliens in Miami were just stretching their legs and grabbing a quick snack after the galactic journey. We need to communicate to the universe. That's why we have Buc-ee's. I don't know what Buc-ee's is, but I'm assuming it's some sort of fast food. And yes, famously, aliens love fast food.
Is that a real quote from the Matt Walsh show? Or is that just
Probably not.
Stephen S. having fun?
I think he's having fun.
All right, there you go. Thank you very much for that. We also have the series, I believe, from Jones. Yes, sir. Hold on one second here. What's going on? All right, here we go.
The images of stars fleeing around the lightning sphere of the ring now quadrupled the size of the ship, made determining the worm jump's entry point difficult. Eventually, glowing tender blue silk springs out from the center, casting an intense blue light on everything. She shields her eyes. The worm jump was coming to an end. She was close.
All right.
Thank you very much, Jones. The saga continues.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much. Remember, folks, if you want to collaborate with the Canarium, send in some art, whatever your art may be. It could be jingles, could be music, could be graphic art, could be microfictions, could be fushigi juggling. Go ahead and go to canarycry.art. You can upload your piece there, and we'll feature it on the show. It is very difficult for us to get it on the show unless you do that, because it puts it on our spreadsheet, and then it gets on the show. If you email it, it's very difficult. So do that. And if you have any articles you'd like us to consider for the show, you can give us those at canarycry.report. That's right. And here's the thing, folks. It's 2024. It's a flagship year. And we're going as hard as we can. And if you want to be a part of it, produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. There's not a whole lot of opportunities in this world to be directly involved in something like this. But that's the value for value model for you. Whatever value means to you, whatever value this show brings, it is entirely up to you. But I would highly highly recommend considering getting involved in any way you can. You can go to canarycry.support to learn more. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom at canarycry.support, you'll see a form. If you fill out that form, that's our producer sort of application to get involved with some of our back-end processes, maybe some of our front-end processes, to sort of get involved with your hands tactically to help the show happen. And one of those groups is the Timestampers. I'd like to thank them now.
Timestamp.
Wow. Stamp. It's hard work. Stamp.
Yep, they timestamped the show, and we appreciate it very much. And thank you very much to producer Morgan E. for doing timestamps of 708.
Thank you, Morgan E. Appreciate you.
Thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for clanking. I saw that email, Clank. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And other than that, share the show. You can do it in any way you want. You can get creative with it. For instance, you know what? No, don't get creative with it. Go leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. Tell the world why you like the show. If you've already done Apple Podcasts, do Audible, do Spotify, wherever you do those things, do it for the show. We got to get a nice bump in those numbers at the beginning of the year here. We got to fight back against the algorithms, and that's just a great way to do it. When you do that, screenshot your rating and review and send it to canarycrysupply@gmail.com, and you'll get entered to win some cool stuff at the end of the month. Please, 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 this is incredible. If you've ever wondered how you can help the show out, this is a great way to start. Thank you. But we do call it rattling cages, and all you do is just walk right up to them, grab them by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Human race every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
That's Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Thank you to Joydar for that $5 super chat on Rumble. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you. I saw that.
Sorry, I missed that. All right, Gons, any last words?
Nope, that's it. We'll see you. Well,
keep a lookout in the next 72 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll be back Monday for News Talk.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
It will kill.
Reset. Feed him more.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. Armageddon's on the way. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Give me a break.
Reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Bye.
We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry, that's a poem.